Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. It's a conversation that must be had today and not tomorrow. Welcome to another episode of I'm Listening, I'm Ready with your host, Andrew E. Guy. Let's talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to me for the first time, you are listening to Andrew E. Guy in the MORNING on the podcast that is dedicated for those who are on the GO, on the go. That means if you're traveling by land, air, or sea, this is me in the MORNING. I am talking to a good friend of mine, a countryman, a visionary. I am so excited. I'm so pumped. I'm trying to stay put on this chair. Do you hear what I'm saying? We're talking about economy. We're talking about mindset. We're talking about mission. We're talking about vision. We're talking about not just writing it down. Let's get it done. Mr. David Mullings, it's been an amazing conversation. But now, as we move into the next segment of our talk this morning, we're talking about the topic of this conversation is the missing piece of the puzzle. And I normally do not introduce the topic right away because it will skew the conversation and everyone will try to talk towards the title. I always wait until the middle so people can get the meat of the conversation, and then we can start and say the missing piece is what? Is our mindset, our thought patterns. It's missing. So now we're talking to entrepreneurs, we're talking to professionals, we're talking to thought leaders, we're talking about people of influence. And my friend, Mr. David Mullings, is one of such. And so today we're going to start off with these questions in this question segment. And based on your experience, based on your knowledge, based on your understanding and your expertise, knowing what you know now, comparing what you knew then, what advice would you give our youth coming up?
Definitely, I'm going to repeat what Michael Leachin has shared with me because it changed my life. And it's three things. Number one, find a role model. Yes. Number two, get the recipe.
Yes.
Number three, don't change the recipe. You're only allowed to change the recipe if you exceed the role model. So put in that effort to find someone, and this is not a role model for everything in your life. Find that role model husband or role model wife for that part. Find a role model company for your business. Find a role model entrepreneur or business owner, and then study them, understand their journey, the hardships they've overcome, the perseverance is required, how they pick themselves up after that failure or after that bankruptcy. Understand how they think, right? Read their books, watch the interviews. So that's what I would say was the most important thing. It helped me from I was 15 years old when I finished high school.
That's wonderful. And what I tell people, don't watch the highlight, read the biographies, because the highlights basically just give you the highlights. But if you read the biographies, you can learn so much. It seems like you're sitting down, you're walking with that person hand in
hand.
If you're listening, please take this advice. The questions that I'm asking these individuals, and I'm going to be bringing on many, many more, are ones that I've thought about for myself. I have two sons, which I am so blessed to have. And my goal in life is to be an example for them. I do not want to run out and find a coach. You know what I'm saying? Or a football coach to say, hey, this guy is going to be the end all for me. The first part of this leadership that we're talking about is you got to start at home. We say in Jamaica, you have to learn to dance a yard before you dance abroad.
100%.
What you mean? You're going out there and you're superstar out there on the stage, and you come inside the house and nobody know you. And that's raw band patois for my people that listen. You hear me? Nonsense, rubbish.
Half the things, boss. No, man, I agree with you.
So you have to learn, man. You have to learn to dance a yard. And let me translate for my non-Jamaican tongues. You have to learn to do right at home before you do right anywhere else. Does that make sense? Wonderful.
100%. Good translation. Good translation.
Thank you very much, sir. And the next question, David, is what was the game changer for you? There's got to be a game changer, but what was it? When did the light bulb go off in your head and say, you know what? Hey, man, this is what I need to do. When did it change?
So it actually, I'll be honest, it started 15 years old. So I finished fifth form at Campion College in Jamaica at 15.
Right.
And then went straight to college. I finished my bachelor's degree at 19. But when I finished high school, Dad asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my answer was simple. I want to be a positive role model for young people around the world, but especially young males in Jamaica.
Right.
And of course, Dad was like, I'm surprised. I expected you to say,
Right.
but we raise you, so we know you have a plan. What is the plan? And I said, well, I have 4 options. Number 1, I could become a university lecturer like you, Dad, and influence young people that way. And he said, I'm flattered, but the people who need the most positive role models are the ones who drop out of high school, so you'll miss them. What's number 2? Oh, number 2, I could become a politician and eventually become Prime Minister of Jamaica, a different kind of politician, though.
Right.
And Dad said, well, that is doable. However, we feel that you'd have to toss out all the morals and values we raise you with to get into a position of power to then become a politician that's successful. And you might get Mama and I shot, right? This is in the 90s, and then that's just the way middle class and upper middle class Jamaicans felt. And so Dad said, what's your last 2? I said, well, the last 2 is 1, I could become a star footballer and use that for good.
Yes.
Or I could become a business owner, an entrepreneur that would eventually own my own film and music companies and create content that could change your mindset and influence people. And Dad said those are not mutually exclusive. Focus on the both of them. And that started that year. Every summer and every Christmas after that, my brother and I, a year younger, had to present a 5-year business plan with projections for Mom and Dad to invest $10,000 in a startup. And they said no for 4 years in a row. So at 15, Dad did that. I sat down and wrote out a 15-year plan, broke into blocks of 5 years, to get me that result of being a positive role model by the age of 30. And then the goal was that at age 30, I would then sit down to map out a 20-year plan through to age 50, broken into blocks of 5 years again. Right. Not as detailed as the first one. The first one was super detailed. Right. But that was it. That was a turning point. 15 years old, I decided positive role model for young people. Entrepreneurship is going to be the way that I execute that. I'll try the football thing in the meantime. Right. And obviously, I ended up playing football for real, and I did play in Jamaica in the under-20 competition and in the National League for a little stint. And I played with Jamaica. I was a leading goal scorer that year in the league. And I ended up playing in the Major League, the 3rd division in Jamaica with Real Mona. But the MBA, I got a scholarship for my MBA, and I couldn't delay it for a year. They said, you can delay. You have to reapply for the scholarship. I said, goodbye football. Yes. Let's go and get. I mean, when you get any scholarship, you should take it. That's saving the family money. It's reducing the potential load. So I said goodbye to professional football and focus on the business because I knew what the end goal was.
Right. That's powerful, man. Guys, if you're listening, remember our show, the podcast, is for people that are on the go. That means you have to get up and go. But before you go, it's asking you the question, I'm listening, I'm ready. So you have to listen. And then when you listen, I didn't say hear, because anyone that has an ear, they can hear, providing that the tympanic membrane and the auditory nerves are working. That's the physical aspect. You may have the tool, but if you don't have the direction, you're not going anywhere. So I am listening and I am ready. That means I got to be ready to take action. Just like David is saying, he's saying that there have been visions in Jamaica about doing this and doing that. Yes, their vision. I can sit on a stool and have a vision. I can just sit down and be daydreaming. But without the mission, without the action step of getting there, it will never happen. It will simply be what I call a pipe dream. And nobody fits in the pipe but you. All right, let's rock and roll. Question number 3, explain in your own thoughts, right? So many people have spent their lifetime looking in the rearview mirror. Everyone is looking in the rearview mirror, right? And they're driving, but they're looking in the rearview mirror instead of looking in the front windshield ahead. What advice would you give someone? And the purpose for me saying this is because I grew up in Jamaica, and when I go and speak to youth at colleges and universities and stuff like that, they say, Andrew, how is it that you're able to connect with the youth so much, so well, on such a deep level? And they said, well, okay, you're writing books and you're traveling here, and you next year you're going to be working on a PhD and all this other stuff. I said, whoa. How did you get here? I said, very simple. I went to school 1 day a week. They said, how is that possible? I said, my parents left Jamaica to come to Canada so they can make a better life for us. We were poor. I was born in Jubilee Hospital, but before I got after I left Jubilee, I went to the country. And then they left when I was 6 years old to come here to Canada. And I was in all these foster homes and stuff, being raised by different people, being abused and beaten every day. And I didn't get to go to school, so I couldn't read. And I was frustrated for the most part of my life. I don't even know much about Jamaica than most Jamaicans do. I didn't get to go on field trips. I didn't get any of that kind of stuff. Deprived, right? And I said, you know what? That's not an excuse. That's a reason to fight and dig deeper. Long story short, we left Jamaica 1988 on Sunday, the 26th, the 30th of October at 5:30. I remember this.
Wow.
I was like, wait a minute. You remember all that? I said, yes, I do. 7:47, leave from Jamaica, Montego Bay to come to Pearson. I said, here we are right now. I said, this is my story. This is who I am. But I said, I don't want to use it as a crutch. It's a valley in my life that helped me to climb up on the hill and go over the hill.
Overcome.
You are got to be an overcomer. So the question I'm asking you now, how do you take charge of your own learning to shape your destiny? That's the question that I'm asking you, and that's what I use. How do you answer to that?
So I would use a quote from Steve Jobs, one of my 5 people that I look up to from a life standpoint. And this one especially for me because I had to do emergency surgery last February, and it was a reminder of this quote. And it says, remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose.
Oh my God.
You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
Right.
So it allows you to ignore the naysayers, ignore the noise, and focus on your gut feeling and what is calling you to go and do. Right. So you end up having clarity of purpose.
Correct.
Once you realize that I'm going to die anyway.
Right.
Is this what I want to be doing today? Today was my last day on earth, which is all Steve Jobs related.
Right. It's powerful that you say that, because my next book that's coming up is called Creating Your Greatest Impact. Right.
Ooh. Ooh. Just the title, man. Just the title.
It's so packed. It's oh my goodness. You know,
pre-ordering right now, please.
Oh, my friend, the first book called Work Your Words, because many people are yapping and talking and they're jibber jabbering and they're not working the words. That's what we talked about a while ago. Mm-hmm. They have vision but no mission. So if you work what you say, if your word was a paycheck, if you work it, it should pay you. It's an investment. You should have some dividends. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you're talking, but you're not working it, so you don't have anything to show. No return on your investment of talking. So work your words, and you will be paid, right? And the next book is called Creating. You have to create an impact. More on that later on. But there's so much to talk about. With this recording, we'll probably just break it in half into 2 different segments, and then we can use that to, I'll send it out to you so we can get it out to the audience and stuff like that. But the question is this. What advice, if any, would you give to people who are hungry? Let me say it like my man Les Brown said it, hungry, right? Who are hungry for change. Not just success. You know, everybody talk about the success. You have your car, you see them in the rap videos, and they think they've made it. And the viewers don't know that those cars were rented, right? They don't know that monies were photocopied, and they're just using that for the video. But what advice? I am big on advice, because advice means I'm adding to individuals, right? Advice, not device. I'm not taking from them. I'm adding to them. Right?
Love it.
What advice would you give to them who are just want to get out of the mold of mediocrity, poverty mindset to make their dreams a reality? It's a deep question. It's not your little one answer question. It's going to force you to really think about this stuff, because when people listen to this podcast, I want them to get up off there, but I'm listening and I'm ready to take my life to the next action. So what advice would you give them? They're hungry for success and they want to get out of the mold of mediocrity, poverty mindset thinking, so they can make their dream a reality. Talk to them, David.
A great quote. My mentor again, Michael Leachin. Number 1 is that you have to decide to be an outlier. You have to decide that I want to outperform. I want to be the best at whatever it is I decide to do. And you do that by implementing three things. Number one is attitude. Number two is passion. Number three is belief. So number one, you need to change your attitude, right?
Yes.
Instead of things happening to you, it needs to be about learning from those things, right? So you need to change your attitude, which also means you have to humble yourself and be open to self-reflection. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I satisfied? Am I happy with where I am today? And if the answer is no in any of those parts, you then have to decide, I am now fed up with myself, with where I am today, and I need to do better. So you change your attitude. Second one is that you need to have passion. So you need to have a cause that you're committed to. And Stephen Schwartzman from Blackstone says a worthy fantasy. So you need to have passion for something, because passion is what gets you through those valleys that you're going to have to go through. And then lastly, you need to have a belief system, a value system, right, that allows you to make decisions very easily. If I know that it's not just hard work that's required, but smart work and working on the right things with the right people, I define what right means. I can easily identify the wrong people and the wrong things, and I can quickly remove them. So those are the three: attitude, passion, and belief. And then what Mike would say is that once you've gotten those now inculcated, they're in your system, you've laid that foundation, you need to add three more things now to create outsized performance. And number one, you need a framework, right? You need to come up with a framework for deciding. You need to have control of your emotions. And you do that by reverting to your framework when you need to. Right? Don't make that decision when you're angry. Don't send an email when you're heated. And then lastly, you need access. You need access to good ideas. You need access to good people. And you need access to capital. So you need to work on your framework, control of emotions, and then access.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I hope that you're sitting at the edge of your seat as I am right now. What I like about talking to individuals like this is that, as I said, advice. They're adding to you. And I've spoken about this yesterday on a video that I just did when I was just coming, and I saw the mountain and the trees and everything was beautiful. I had to pull over, and what I call it was a tailgate party. I just pull over, pop the hood, pop the trunk of a truck, and I sat there and I just recorded and talked to you. That video is coming soon. But you hear it here first in I Am Listening. If you are listening and you are ready to change your life, you better follow some of these steps that Mr. Mullings is saying to you, right? So here is the last part of our show. This is called the Think, Fire, Shoot. Think, fire, and shoot, right? I'm going to put on the actual clock. I'm going to put it on. I know, man. I'm sorry. You're on the hot seat. You're on the hot seat, my brother. You're on the hot seat. So I'm going to put on my stopwatch right now. So let me get that going. And here's how this is going to work. Let me put out my stopwatch. Most of the people, they get a little tense when this is about to happen. So let me put on my stopwatch. Stopwatch is ready.
Wow.
Yeah, that stopwatch is ready. All right, let's go. Hurry up. Let's go. All right, see? That's a stopwatch right there, my brother.
A seat.
It's live and direct. It's in red blood. Red.
This is real. Ready for the company. I'm ready.
All right, so here's what's going on now. This is called Think, Fire, Shoot. And what it is basically, I am going to ask you a series of 4 questions. And you have 15 seconds to give your feedback. I will give you the word. It could be a phrase. It could be a combination of words, but you have 15 seconds. Think, fire, and shoot. Are you ready? So
ready.
Before you start, you're going to start off by saying your name. My name is David Mullings, and you're going to talk a little bit about your company. So everyone is going to know your company is on the line, you're on the line, and you're letting them know, this is my mindset. This is why I got involved in this company. So, for example, I was saying, my name is Andrew E. Guy, author of blah, 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 blah. So what they can do, as soon as they hear your Think, Fire, Shoot, they can go look up your company. If somebody's interested, this is a way to plug what you do. This is your opportunity. Make it happen. All right. So that's kind of what I want to do. So 15 seconds per question. All right. Let's get ready to go. Are you ready, sir?
Ready.
All right, so state your name and your company and what you do. Make it happen. Go.
I'm David Mullings, the founder of Mahoe Capital Partners, and we want to help people create generational wealth.
All right. So now, Mr. David, question number 1, starting. The words are, people say, ellipsis. People say, go.
Don't listen to the naysayers.
All right. You got 15 seconds. Use it.
Find a role model, get the recipe, don't change the recipe.
All right. Good. All right. 14 seconds, 14.3 seconds. All right. Number two. Use the whole 15 seconds until I say stop. Just keep giving them information. You're advising, you're adding value. All right. So here we go. Question number 2. It's called family and culture. Go.
Family and culture are a key part of determining who you are and how far you can go. Work-life balance isn't what it is. Family should be the center. It's your son, and everything should revolve around family.
Awesome. All right. Question number 3. And the questions get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Still got the same 15 seconds. The words are background, past, present, future. Background, past, present, future. Go.
Your background doesn't hold you back. The past is in the rearview mirror. Your present changes what your future can be. So you need to focus on getting the best future by changing what you do today in the present.
Oh my goodness. 14.9 seconds.
I want 9.78 or 9.69. Come
on. Next question, and the last and final one. Now, this is the one you're going to have to think. You have to dig deep. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Mr. David Mullings on Think, Fire, Shoot. It's a segment of our podcast where the best of the best, the great thinkers, the thought leaders, they get 15 seconds to empower you. All right, so here we go. And the final question is, determination, will, guts, obstacles. Determination, will, guts, obstacles. Go.
Determination is the same as perseverance, and that gives you the will. It gives you the guts to face the fears that you will encounter, to overcome them, because that is required for you to overcome obstacles. Whether you're climbing over them, digging under them, going around them, or busting through them, that's what you need. You need perseverance. 100%.
100%. Now, he went over on this a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. He went over, he hit the 20-second mark. That's all right. That is expected. That's expected on the last question. It's a hard one. They have to think about it. They got to give you everything that they got. So I'm okay with that. We'll minus that 5 seconds from his future one next time. All right? So we forgive that. But listen, I am so excited for this conversation. I am looking forward to the feedback that you guys are going to bring, that you're going to share when you hear this interview. It's full. I am looking forward to teaming up with David to do some other things. I've told him before that I have a passion to go and speak at UE. I've always wanted to speak at UE. It's a school, if I ever had an opportunity to go, I would have gone. All things are possible. I so want to thank him so much. I want to thank our viewers. I want to thank our potential sponsors. For those who want to sponsor this podcast, please send the information to my booking manager at David, which is INFO at AndrewGuySpeaks.com. Special thank you to everyone who loves this and comment on this and share it with your people. This is just a great environment for you to grow. Okay, so I'm gonna give Mr. David Mullings the last word so he can say one few last things to you guys. I just want to thank him for being on the show. This is Andrew Guy with I'm Listening, and I am ready. David, take it away. Go.
So what I want to leave you with is some words from Michael Leeson again. Mike, as you can hear from this, is somebody that has had a massive, massive impact on my life. And there's a quote in a magazine interview Mike did that has stuck with me, and I think it will resonate with the audiences. And it says, I was born in an era that gave me an opportunity to own a pair of shoes. Had I been born 250 years ago, I would have been owned. I would have been a slave. So I'm very, very aware that my being here has many factors that I had nothing to do with. So whatever it is you're talking about that you're facing in this time, that adversity you're facing, remember, it could have been way worse, and you're blessed to be alive today in 2020. If you start reminding yourself that you are blessed to be alive in 2020 and you have the opportunity to own things instead of be owned, you can get into that abundance mindset and get out of that scarcity mindset. So get into the abundance mindset. Believe that you deserve it. Believe that it is possible. And then work towards it. Believing is not enough. We need that mission. We need that action. So that's what I want to leave you with.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it has been a pleasure sitting and talking to Mr. David Mullings from out of Jamaica. And his mind is in Jamaica and his mind is in the US because he's thinking, how can I connect the two so we can see the abundance that's inside the land of wood and water and speed? Right?
Yes.
And connect the wealth so they can understand what's happening. I'm looking forward. We're going to be launching a conference next year for men. And I am looking forward to have Mr. David come up here and just throw some knowledge. And it's going to be a great conference. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a slice. David, thank you so much for your time. All the glitches we had, it was well worth it.
It
was worth it. So you take care of yourself. Until next time, we'll talk again. All right? I'll see you.
Enough respect.
Big up, my brother. Big up. All right?
Big up.
All right.
Man.
Cool. Say hi to the family, man.
I will say hi to them. Thank you so much, Andrew. Really appreciate what you're doing for everyone.
You're welcome. Take care.
Right.
All right.
Man. Take care. Cool.
Bye.
Perfect. So if you have an obstacle, the water finds a way around it. Water finds a path of least resistance. But at the same time, water is soft, splash on our face, but it's also hard. It creates the Grand Canyon. It will cut through that rock over time. It will. It doesn't just go over the obstacle or around it. It will cut through that obstacle eventually.
Yes, it will. And what I noticed, I went to this place. They make dyes. They also make these are the magnets, neodymium magnets, right?
Okay.
And how they make this magnet, I took my son to this factory. They use water to cut steel.
That is water blade. That's wow.
Yeah, they use water to cut steel. We were absolutely blown away by this. And they sat there with Daddy, are you serious? Serious. And the guy took us there. I'm actually going to be setting up an interview with him too, right? It's called, the guy is from Job Master, and that's his.
Wow.
And make these magnets and send them all over the world. And it was amazing to see the power of water. Water is amazing, man.
I love it. All right, perfect. So I see it recorded. This thing is finally going.
Yes,
this is your show, and
it's our show. We're participating in this, and as a fellow Jamaican born and raised, it's so great, man, to be sitting down and having this conversation with you. And I know there's going to be many more as we
many more.
Yes.
No, man, thank you so much, Andrew, for inviting me on, man. I really appreciate it.
It's going to be great. We have a lot more to talk about, and I know this is not going to be the only episode. There's going to be a lot more for us to get into because there's so much. Let me go ahead and get everything set up here. Get our questions and everything. Everything is lit. Everything is ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, man.
And I'm so glad that we had that issue.
yes. Hey, patience. We're going to talk about that. It taught me one again. It reminded me how important patience is. Why you can't get too frustrated. But everything always works out in the end.
Yes.
For the better.
And the thing is that what I've always asked myself, and I also learned this from Bruce Lee, is like, what am I supposed to be learning here? In this moment, in this time? What am I supposed to be learning here? Because every obstacle, every moment in time, we're supposed to be learning something.
That's true.
What
is the lesson?
What is the lesson?
Complaining about something happening, stop and say, what is the lesson from this experience?
Exactly, because we miss the entire lesson because we're busy grumbling. We're busy complaining. All right?
Yes.
But I'm excited about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go into it right now. We're going to start. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Andrew Guy with the Andrew Guy Podcast. I am listening and I am ready. That's exactly what we're talking about. I said, I'm listening and I am ready. I got an exciting guest here today, Mr. David Mullings. And there's just so much to talk about. Just getting started in itself is a show. Because so many technological things that could go wrong, that went wrong, but all of those were life lessons, right?
100%.
I'm excited because we are both Jamaican descendants. I am from Jamaica, his parents from Jamaica, and how we met was that's just going to be another show. I promise it's going to be another show. But we met on LinkedIn and I saw him and I said, okay, Mullings, this name Mullings is just something about it. And I looked it up and I said, let me reach out to him. I said, are you associated with so-and-so and so? And one thing led to the next. And here we are talking. I sent him out an invite to be on the show and he is here. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. David Mullings to the show. David.
Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Live and direct.
Yes.
Big up.
Yes. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go and I'm going to hit our intro and we're going to start our intro and you hear a little music playing in the back. And then after that marks the official starting of the segment. All right. So let's rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. It's a conversation that must be had today and not tomorrow. Welcome to another episode of I'm Listening, I'm Ready with your host, Andrew E. Guy. Let's talk about it. Until next time, keep listening, live ready, talk soon.